And Lisa and Trent sold in Wallsend on Andrea Close, and Liam was their listing agent. But going right back to the start, you know, when you made the decision we're going to sell, had you met with a couple of agents before coming across with Liam?
Look, if you don't, is it okay? I'll actually tell you even a little bit more of a story. We first, when we moved to Newcastle and bought Andrea Close, bought it through you guys. So that's when we actually first started to become involved with the office. And I thought that agent did a really good job. So then when we had a block of land out at Fletcher, and once again, it wasn't really a hard choice. We didn't even speak to anyone else at the time.
That's when we
got
met
it on
Liam.
the market. That was when we first met Liam. Great relationship. It was a difficult time. Liam managed it so well, so much compassion, consideration. We started to see the skills that he brings to the job. But it's not. It's so much more than just about price. It's about the relationship you have with your clients, how you communicate with them, how you talk to them, and that's where Liam nails it. He brings his sense of humour into his work. The professionalism is always there, and the results just come from it. So, did the block of land, great job. When it came time to sell again, we had one other agent just to get an opinion and another price, but it wasn't really ever in doubt.
Yeah.
We were always probably going to go with Liam. It wasn't. Yeah.
I found it a bit stressful, particularly because it sold so quickly. So I think he managed my emotions quite well. I also think that he when he said he was going to call, he did, because it sold so fast that we didn't really even have time to think, really. So I thought we would have at least had one open house, but it even sold before an open house, which again was positive because I didn't have to worry about, you know, every weekend having my house spotless and candles smelling and all that sort of stuff.
I think the knowledge of the market and what's happening.
Yes.
A very realistic range as well. There's no use. I'm a little bit familiar with real estate in some sense.
Yes.
And you know, telling someone that we were going to get 600,000, that wouldn't have got the listing.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have been realistic either. You know, you nailed the range and you got the top of it, and everything went perfectly. So that's the important thing. I think the other two things that I knew Liam and I know that the office does that are really important to me in a real estate agent. I know that every buyer that came through that place, unless they were just someone that rocked up at an open house, was qualified. They were going to be able to buy the house. Correct. So there was a couple of the 2 afternoons, I think it was a Monday and a Tuesday before we sold on the Wednesday, you had people through. I know that Billy would have known exactly where those people were in terms of how prepared they were to buy, and that's why they came through. So I was happy to put the effort in to get the place tidy for Billy to bring them through. The other thing I think is really important for real estate agents, and not enough of them do it, no sell, no fee. Yes. But I think that is so important. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay you to advertise yourself. I hate that. Yep. That's money for nothing. You don't do the job, and that's why some agents get away with doing that, because they get that marketing money. They can tell someone it's worth a lot more than it is, and they can sit there and they can advertise themselves. Yes. You know?
I think the other thing that Liam did as well, which I think was really important, was that he got a sense of why we loved living in that house.
Yes.
So I can clearly remember when we were sitting around the table and I was saying, you know, that for a woman it's close to Charlestown, it's close to Katara, it's close to Glendale, it's close to Wallsend. And the fact that we always felt in our backyard that we were on holidays, because the backyard was very secluded, it had lots of sort of native plants around the pool. And I think those things are really important, because I think the people that have ended up buying the house probably have bought the house for all the same reasons we bought the house 6 years ago. The only unfortunate part for us is we outgrew the house. But I loved living in that home. Yes. And I think that certainly we met the owners, the new owners, and I think they loved living in the house for all the same reasons we did. So,
what would you say to someone if it's just suppose one of you knew somebody that was thinking of selling, maybe not in Wallsend, around the lake somewhere, and you know, they might want to use, for instance, a local agent.
Yeah.
That only sells in that suburb, because that's obviously something that a lot of people think maybe initially, I need to get the person that only sells in this suburb. I guess having a firm that's, you know, that sold your place for you guys more than once in 2 different suburbs. What would you say to those people that are thinking of only using that local person? For instance, it's only 10 minutes away, but their opinion is, well, that's the agent because they have all the homes for sale. They may not sell all the homes because they sit on the market collecting dust. However, that's the opinion, so I'm just going to stick with that. What would you say to them?
If people were asking me, I would be saying, you know, I suppose asking them quite challenging questions like, why wouldn't you do your research? Why wouldn't you get some more, you know, quotes, or why wouldn't you do some research on the internet? Like, I think that's probably what I would say. I would be saying, you know, that just because something's convenient doesn't always necessarily mean it's the best, and that you should always gather more than one opinion when you're making such a big decision about your house.
The other thing is just the database and access to so many more people. If you've got a database that's filled with people from looking in multiple areas, you might be able to connect up the dots, and a good agent would do that.
That maybe they're not going to have such a wide range of contacts, or such an open mind, or such a wider, I suppose, catchment, or they mightn't have as many people that they know, because then their market is quite narrow, and I think that would probably, be quite risky if you just, you know,
Yes.
look too narrow in such a big decision of selling your home. Definitely.
Right.